Hello and welcome to our presentation. We are Pontypridd High School. We are situated in Kilfynydd in Pontypridd. We are an 11 to 18 school of approximately 900 pupils with a current free school meal percentage of approximately 29%. Today this presentation will focus on the new curriculum for Wales, specifically looking at using authentic contexts for learning. Today you will hear from myself, Rebecca Enos. I am the Emerging Leader of Learning and Teaching at Pontypridd High School. You will hear from Marisa Dowley, who is the Moondance Schools Coordinator. And finally you will hear from Rhys Ivins, who is our Assistant Head Teacher focusing on curriculum development. At the end of this presentation you will have access to our contact details. Our presentation will look at 4 key areas. To begin with, we will look at our new curriculum journey so far. We will then look at our development of a thematic approach with skills development being at the heart of what we do. We will then share an example of authentic learning that has been used effectively in our health and well-being area of learning experience. And finally, we will discuss how we are assessing and reporting on pupil progress. Our journey began with looking at the development of skills. It is evident following the COVID-19 pandemic that the focus for our school was the development of literacy and numeracy skills to support the overall pupil progress. As a curriculum team, we believe that progress in these skills is fundamental to the future successes of our pupils. The initial stage of our new curriculum planning became ensuring that skill development was at the centre of what we do, not as a bolt-on approach. To enable this to be possible, we had to ensure that the staffing structure met the needs of our school. One of the most significant changes was the appointment of skills leaders across literacy, numeracy and digital competency who would drive our curriculum. Our learning and teaching leads in each area of learning experience were placed into skills groups, as seen on the screen. This was to ensure that the skills leaders could support the professional learning and development for the staffing teams within each of their key areas of literacy, numeracy and digital competency. We also have a whole school approach to homework in years 7 and 8 called Discover More, which continues our skills focus outside of the classroom. Following the clear vision for skill development, each area of learning would then be linked by a cross-curricular theme. These themes allowed each curriculum area to link together to develop the skills alongside the knowledge and understanding required for each area of learning and experience. On screen are the 3 themes that we have used this year in our Year 7 curriculum. Each theme has allowed the areas of learning experience to make meaningful links. One example of this is the Moondance project, which ran this year in our autumn term theme of "No one is too small to make a difference," a quote by Greta Thunberg, within our health and well-being area of learning experience. I will now hand over to Marie, who will share our experience of this with you. Thank you.
Moondance Cancer Initiative is a charity that funds people and ideas to make Wales a world leader in cancer survival. Obtaining funding from Moondance Cancer Initiative, we have been able to develop and successfully deliver a programme of learning which is relevant to our local community, authentic and meet the requirements of the new curriculum. Although cancer is reducing in Wales, rates are increasing locally. Our area, Cwm Tap Morgannwg, has the highest rates of new cancer cases in Wales. Colorectal, bowel cancer, is the 4th most common cancer in our area, and cases are higher in RCT than the Welsh average. We do have the treatment and medicines that can cure over 90% of cases if the treatment is carried out early enough. Unfortunately, less than half of colorectal cancers are diagnosed at an early stage. Increasing amount of people are presenting late when their cancer is in an advanced stage and treatment is not as effective. Being able to identify the signs and symptoms of bowel cancer and participating in the screening programme are key parts to an early stage diagnosis. Bowel cancer can be detected before symptoms are present through a screening test. The bowel screening programme in Wales currently offers a home test to women and men aged between 58 and 74. People in this age category are invited to take a test every 2 years. The most recent data shows that there was only a 62.1% uptake of screening tests in RCT in 2019-20. Of course, schools cannot be responsible for improving uptake in screening process themselves, but it is clear that work in schools can make some contribution towards achieving this goal. The Moondance learning programme has helped to establish a broad and impactful partnership between colleagues in secondary schools across RCT, health, third sector and within our local authority. The work has had a clear focus on learning experiences around a central theme of cancer and bowel cancer in particular. Working with several partners has had the benefit of providing access to the most relevant and accurate information and sources of data. It also provides more opportunity for community strategies to be better coordinated and publicised more widely. Lessons for the Moondance learning programme were developed by several teachers in RCT and include a variety of activities to develop important skills such as literacy, numeracy and digital competency. All of the lesson content had been quality assured in partnership with colleagues from Public Health Wales and Cwm Morgannwg Health Board to ensure data sources were reliable and up to date and key messages were accurate. The programme has been designed to provide young people with additional experiences, knowledge and skills that they need for employment, lifelong learning and active citizenship. There are opportunities for pragmatic learning such as engagement with a wide range of health professionals. Children also learned about the screening process, whilst adults received details of when, how and where they could access a test and what the process of screening may entail. This aspect of the learning programme was not only supported in school, but also by Bowel Screening Wales, local GP practices and the local voluntary sector. The new curriculum for Wales emphasises the importance of core purposes of learning taught through areas of experience like health and wellbeing. This programme has a focus on cancer, but develops learning that covers the signs and symptoms, the screening process, reducing risks through diet and exercise, and the patient journey from diagnosis to treatment. The focus on cancer and bowel cancer has a very clear rationale and context to our lives and to the locality in which we live and work. This programme is a very meaningful contribution to the curriculum, addressing the key questions of what we teach, how we teach, and crucially, why we teach it. A key aim of the work was for children to develop an understanding so they can make better, more informed decisions about their own lifestyle and in turn their own health and well-being. The second key aim was to make resources available that complemented and run alongside the content delivered to children in school. Information was available through online platforms so that adults were aware of the learning, which both informs and educates them about the same subject matter. In raising awareness of cancer and bowel cancer, family members and adults in the community gained knowledge of the signs and symptoms, prevention, treatment, and how to engage in the screening process. Surveys were carried out with both pupils and parents and carers before and after the delivery of the learning programme. The results revealed that before the programme was delivered, on average, 36% of parents and carers were successfully able to identify all 5 symptoms of bowel cancer, compared to a staggering 81% post-delivery. Likewise, on average, 56% of pupils successfully identified all 5 symptoms of bowel cancer before delivery. This raised to 87% on completion of the programme. Opportunities for pupils to learn about meaningful health topics within the new curriculum will enable learners to critically assess the impacts of healthy decisions and choices and in turn generate health benefits for their family and the school community. As part of the Central South Consortium Professional Learning Programme, secondary schools are now invited to deliver the Moondance learning programme in their own schools, offering purposeful learning experiences which will allow staff to use different pedagogical approaches to meet the needs of all learners. I will now pass you over to Rhys Ivans, who will take you through the assessment and reporting structure.
The next stage of our curriculum development was to focus on how would we assess and report on the progress we are making throughout each area of learning, and more importantly, how would we assess the progress being made in those fundamental cross-curricular skills of literacy, numeracy and digital competency. As mentioned earlier, the initial stage of our curriculum work was focused on the delivery of essential cross-curricular skills. As a curriculum team, we wanted to focus on the delivery and assessment of those skills, alongside the assessment, knowledge and understanding in each area of learning. This was essential for our curriculum development as we planned for the autumn term. We had to think about how we would assess the skills and the knowledge linked to the Curriculum for Wales progression steps. We decided to use the following categories, which would illustrate the progress an individual pupil has made against the progression steps. The following diagram gives an illustration of the progress a pupil making alongside the progression steps. For instance, if a pupil is working in the emerging category, they are working below the expected level for a pupil in that particular year group. Likewise, if they're working in the exceeding category, they're working above the expected level. And they're working on that continuum from progression step 3 in year 7, and we're planning for progression right the way up to at the end of, when they're setting their exams in year 10 and year 11. Here is an example of our report, which shows the progress that is being made in the cross-curricular skill areas, including diagnostic comments. We report to parents 3 times a year, and the progress in the skills is at the front of our report, as you can see there, showing where the pupils are emerging, expected or exceeding in each particular skill area. And also the diagnostic comments, which are sent home to parents, highlight where good progress is being made and also where further progress is needed in each particular skill area. This next report will include the progress in each area of learning, in addition to the progress in the skills which we've already established throughout our Year 7 curriculum and into Year 8 in 2022, the autumn as well. Ultimately, with any curriculum change you make, you want to assess the progress that you've made and look for areas where further progress is needed. So there are positive signs that our curriculum change is having an impact on the pupils' work across the skills and in the areas of learning. I focused on the skills here on this slide. As you can see, in the literacy area, we have reduced the number of pupils working below the expected level. That's reduced by 13% from autumn 2021 to spring 2022. We cap tested all of Year 7 and Year 8 in the autumn term. And it's pleasing that the pupils are outperforming their cap predictors in the first and second round of national testing that we undertook with our cohort. What is interesting in literacy and numeracy, and I'll talk about numeracy later on, is that there are a greater number of pupils achieving 114 compared to sort of pre-COVID cohorts. But also it is noticeable there is a much larger percentage of pupils in that emerging category with scores below 85 when we compare them to 2018-2019, and that is an area we really need to work on as our curriculum progresses into Year 8 and Year 9. In numeracy, similar to literacy, we've made progress in reducing those pupils working below the expected level, so we've got them into the expected category. Similar to literacy, in numeracy they've outperformed their cap predictors, not only as a individual but also as a cohort. And again, we are seeing there are a higher percentage of pupils scoring above 114 than when we compare to pre-COVID cohorts of 2018-2019, and that is an improving picture, which is positive. In digital competency, again, similarly to literacy and numeracy, we've made a reduction in the number of pupils in the lowest category. That's been reduced, so that's pleasing. There are curriculum design implications for digital competency. We try to deliver the skills of digital competency through our other areas of learning. We will make a change for autumn 2022, and we will put ICT bespoke lessons into the curriculum. So that's one change we've learned from what we've done this year. And secondly, we're very welcome for all the Chromebooks and the iPads we have now in the school. We've never had so much ICT, but also it's ensuring that the professional learning and staff is where it needs to be, so we can deliver those digital competency skills to the standard that we want. And we are looking to embed a number of digital competency, IT leaders really within each area of learning, which can drive that forward. So that's an area which we are currently working on moving towards autumn 2022. Thank you for listening to our presentation. I know I speak for the three of us, and our email address is there on the screen, and if you have any further questions or anything you want to discuss about our presentation, please don't hesitate to contact us. Thanks again.
The Moondance Cancer Initiative wants to change outcomes from cancer for people in Wales. We think it's a continuum. It's about prevention, it's about early diagnosis, it's about good treatments, and it's about living long with cancer or after it's been cured. That's our objective, and we think it starts with people in schools.
The Moondance Cancer Initiative was set up in order to address a real concern from health colleagues about the number of people in Wales who are not just getting bowel cancer but also unfortunately dying of cancer.
We're really proud to be working with Pontypridd High School and other schools in the Rhondda and Taff area. Cancer has always had a stigma attached to it, but in fact so many cancers are curable now. We believe that it's really important to start this conversation at school. Young people need to understand and be comfortable talking about it. We know also that they'll influence their parents and their grandparents as well. Young people are the key, which is why we're dealing with schools.
The Cwm Taf Morgannwg Health Board